For the last 2 centuries, work has been the gravitational center of our human identity. We introduced ourselves by what we do. We measured worth by productivity. We judged character by career. And somewhere along the line, we quietly agreed to this collective illusion that my job is who I am. Guess what? AI disrupts that illusion, not by eliminating work, but by exposing how artificial the relationship between work and identity truly was. So I'll put this plainly. AI is not taking work away from humans. AI is taking away the justification for tying identity to work. And that is a much deeper shift. So this industrial contract that we made is breaking. We've all been part of this since the early industrial era, and it goes something like this. You give the system your time, your labor, your obedience, and your expertise. And the system gives you identity and security. AI breaks that contract. Not because it wants to, AI has no desires, but because the contract was built on a premise that simply no longer exists. The premise that human capability is scarce. AI makes capability abundant. And that's what disrupts work. The real threat isn't job loss, it's meaning loss. So here's the uncomfortable truth that we have to come to terms with. When people say they fear AI taking their job, what they're afraid of is losing a place in the world, losing a paycheck, losing a role in the social hierarchy, losing a source of pride, losing the narrative and the identity that says, I matter because I produce. AI threatens this scaffolding that holds up self-worth. It's not the tasks that we fear losing, it's the story we told ourselves about these tasks. AI doesn't take jobs, it takes permission to stay small, permission to stay comfortable, permission to stay defined by what we already know. The future of work isn't just an economic crisis, it's an existential correction. Work was always a proxy for something else. And this is where most futurists get it absolutely wrong. Work was never the point. Work has always been the socially acceptable excuse to avoid the harder question. So for example, who are you without productivity? Who are you without achievement? Who are you without a title? Who are you without a role to hide behind? AI doesn't eliminate work. AI eliminates the hiding places. It removes the noise and focuses humans to confront the signal. What is our real value? And the signal is this. Human value is not in what we produce. It is in what we can perceive, what we can imagine, what we can shape, and what we can choose. That's the future of work. It's not automation. It is an awakening. AI takes tasks and humans take meaning. And we have to separate labor from purpose. AI takes things like repetition and precision, optimization, pattern recognition, all these things that we're familiar with when it comes to AI, computation, documentation, summarization, extraction, categorization, prediction. So what do humans retain? Humans retain that very important quality of intentionality, ethics, emotional nuance, aesthetic judgment, lived experience, the narrative of the story that we're telling, understanding, curiosity, improvisation, moral choice, existential framing, and courage. AI can see billions of data points, but it can't decide what is worth seeing. AI can generate infinite possibilities, but it can't choose which one gives life meaning. And this gives us an entirely new definition of work. For 200 years, humans were rewarded for acting like machines. We were rewarded for being consistent, predictable, repetitive, standardized, specialized. AI is the first technology that punishes humans for behaving like machines. It rewards adaptability, synthesis, that very human ability to be creative, to be a storyteller, discernment, emotional intelligence, perspective. These are the things that AI cannot replace, but which it will amplify. The future doesn't need more human machinery. The future needs more humanity. We're entering an era of non-linear careers. In the industrial age, careers were linear. You climbed a ladder, you picked a lane, you stayed in that lane, you advanced within that lane, and you retired in that lane. AI destroys the whole notion of a lane. In a world where intelligence is universally accessible, a single human being can now be a strategist in the morning, a designer at lunch, a writer in the afternoon, an analyst by dinner, and an inventor by midnight. Not because they became 5 different people, but because they finally gained access to 5 different capabilities. AI creates multidimensional humans. It amplifies our abilities and our capabilities. And the economy just isn't ready for that. The educational system is not prepared for that. Corporate infrastructure isn't ready for it. And governments are definitely not prepared for that kind of sea change. But individuals will adapt long before systems do. And this is what's key to understand, because individuals feel the change before institutions even acknowledge it. It's the rise of what I call the meaning economy. When intelligence becomes abundant, meaning becomes scarce. The next era of economic value won't be based on things like productivity, efficiency, expertise. It'll be based on being able to create a narrative, to curate creativity, aesthetic coherence, emotional resonance, and wisdom, all these things that are very human. AI is not the crutch, but it's an instrument through which we create this meaning economy, an economy that rewards thinkers, explainers, storytellers, orchestrators, and most of all, it will reward those who can take a world flooded with intelligence, where intelligence is abundant, and turn it into a world that is elevated by understanding. That is the future of work, not the automation of labor, but the elevation of meaning. AI isn't stealing your jobs. It's stealing the illusion that our jobs were ever the sole source of our value.